Tinney. And I have worked with Joe for the past probably 25 years, initially as a volunteer at Hospice of Petaluma and working with us on our community advisory board. And he was very instrumental in helping us build the beautiful hospice house that we have on Payron Street. Has been a faithful volunteer and supporter. Joe Tinney.
Yay!
Judy Ryder, Mary Glass, hospice volunteers, and friends. Why do we gather here at this time? It's not unusual to gather at a holiday season. It's a time of joy with family and friends. But it also can be a time of sorrow, too, because we've all lost loved ones and we can no longer share these memories with them. Counselors can tell us that the holiday season can be especially sad to those of us who've lost loved ones, especially at this time of year. But Roland Bond and Judy Ryder and others at hospice had a wonderful idea. Maybe there is a way to remember those people and to turn sorrow into warmth, to have a celebration where we can do that. Because they deserve to be remembered, don't they? They are part of us. They influenced our lives. They changed us and helped make us what they are. Part of them still lives in each of us. And each one of those lives represents a special memory of the people who helped make us what we are. If we could have a ceremony to gather and remember those people and turn sorrow into warmth, could we do that? Let me give you an example how we can do it. For example, my father-in-law, Mike, was a huge man, but he was kind and loving. He was so big, he played tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. And what I like to remember about him was one Christmas Eve many, many years ago. We gathered at his house, and there was a huge box. It was intended for him, from his brother-in-law. Just before the exchange of gifts, there came a commercial for JD's Cologne, a product at the time. And for some reason, my mother-in-law just went off on that. She hated she went on for 5 minutes, 6 minutes about how she hated JD's Cologne. She hated the name. She hated the logo. She hated the scent. She hated everything about it. I didn't care, but I looked around at my wife's cousins and I could sense something was wrong. I didn't know what. But I forgot about it when the exchange of gifts came. We all wanted to see it was in that big box. And when he opened it, it contained every product that JD's ever made. My mother-in-law ran from the room. My cousins were on the floor laughing. And just a few years ago, my sister-in-law was cleaning out her closet, and she found an old bottle of JD's Cologne. She gave it to me at Christmas. And when I opened it, the family roared with laughter. And that brought back memories of that year, my father-in-law, Mike. And of course, that started a number of stories. He remembered not just that, but all the things that he did with us and for us. And he lived with us again for a while that evening, and he still does. My cousin Jacqueline is fond of remembering Christmas celebrations at my grandmother's house when we were kids. It was one night when everybody was there, everyone got along, and they were all characters. I remember my cousin, one cousin, she used to unwrap her gifts very slowly and carefully, and then rewrap them. You couldn't tell they were open. And there were a couple of relatives who never got it. Every year they fell for it and would yell at her to open her gifts. And every time we tell that story, we think not only of my cousin, but all my aunts and uncles and our parents and grandparents. They're now gone, but all the warmth we shared with them, not only during the holidays, but all the time, and the things they did for us and with us. And we feel better, we feel good. And of course, at Christmas time, as we all do, I like to remember my mother. The story I like to remember about her most is not a holiday story. It's when I was going into the Army. The Vietnam War was raging, and she said to me the old Irish blessing, "May God hold you in the hollow of his hand." It made me feel good. And sometimes, though, holiday memories are not always good ones, but we can turn them into good memories. For some reason, the memory we most have about my mother is one Christmas, She was in the hospital. She'd had surgery. She was getting older, nearing the end of her life. And she demanded to be brought home on Christmas Eve. The doctor said, no, don't do it. She's not ready. She's not well enough. Well, she demanded, and she was brought home late in the afternoon on Christmas Eve. The doctor was right. She couldn't eat. She moaned in pain all evening, and when we tried to carry her to the bathroom, my nephew Kevin dropped her on the floor. We refer to that as a Christmas from hell. But now, when we look back on it, strangely enough, we can laugh at it. And we talk about the year that Kevin fumbled Mom. But of course, whenever we do mention that, we never stop there. We remember all the wonderful things my mother did for us children, for my dad, and especially for her grandchildren and all the people that know her. All the grandchildren will all have their special stories about their grandmother and the warmth that she shared, the things she did for us, and how she held us in the hollow of her hand. And that's why all of you are here tonight too, isn't it? Because we can look up at the trees, you can look and see and remember that special person you're here to remember. Maybe there's more than one. The spouse, the mom, the dad, the grandparents, the aunts and uncles, the relatives, the special friend, the things they did for you, the things they did with you, the laughter and the tears. Maybe you can remember that special joke that you and they used to share, you and they alone. But that's why we gather, because as long as we can do that, they're never completely gone. As long as we can look at those lights and think of those memories and share them, we can share them not only tonight, not only through the holiday season, but all year long and all the days of our lives. We can hold them in our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you.